Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of The Stark Effect hosted by yours truly, Kay, also known as KK or K in the streets. My name is Khalif Starks. Thank you for coming back to my podcast. I have a little bit of glare on my glasses there, so we'll put on the glasses when I get into the report. But let's check in with each other. How was your week? Think to yourself if you're watching this, or drop down and comment if you care to comment. How was your week? How were you? For me, this week was hard. Um, it wasn't necessarily like work related or anything like that. It was just hard on me physically because I started working out again and trying to be more consistent with my workouts. I do go to the gym. I don't go to the gym all the time, but I do try to go to the gym at least 2 to 3 times a week. And if I'm not at the gym, I'm always walking and making sure I'm getting my steps in. I aim for 10,000. Do I get 10,000 every day? No. Some days I get 6,000. Some days I get 7,000. Some days I get 4,000. But I have been trying to be physical again, and it has been catching up to me because I've been waking up at 5 in the morning and getting up and trying to go to the gym, and it's been really, really hard. So when I do go to the gym, you all, let me tell you where I messed up at. Celsius drinks. Celsius drinks are the devil. If you are okay with drinking Celsius and you never really had side effects or issues, that's fine. Go ahead and keep enjoying your Celsius, girl. But for me, as someone who has been drinking Celsius is on and off for like the last 3 to 4 years or so, I can't do it anymore. Celsius drinks give me a lot of anxiety, and I noticed that lately, when I drink them, I have a really really bad crash. So I don't know why that is. Now I don't always get the most sleep. Like sometimes I'll get 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep, 6 hours of sleep. So I'm pretty sure that that's probably a part of why I'm crashing so hard. But this week, I've actually been getting more sleep. I've been getting about 6 to 7 hours of sleep a night. And my sleep has been broken up a lot because of the Celsius drinks because there's a lot of caffeine. And then whenever I go to the gym, I work out. And here's the thing, you all. This is why it's gotten to me physically. Like this week was hard for me. So when I go to the gym, I'm very simple. I'm not a strenuous workout person. The most strenuous things that I do is probably the Stairmaster and the lat pull machine. Everything else is pretty easy. I'm a pretty regular maintenance type workout person, meaning that I go to just maintain my body. I'm not trying to have dramatic weight loss or anything like that. That's not my goal. I'm just trying to keep it right and keep it tight and tighten up a few things. And, if I shrink down, that's cool. If I don't, that's cool. Um, I usually use the treadmill and I walk. I like power walk for 30 minutes. I run here and there sometimes. I'm not that much of a runner, but I do run every once in a while, child. I will run a little bit now. You'll see my me up there looking a mess trying to run, okay? But I do run from time to time. I'm just not a fan of running. I hate running. Running is just a lot. And honestly, I feel like running outside is easier than the treadmill because the treadmill, it does something to my joints. I don't know what it is. The treadmill is weird. I feel like it's probably better for us to run outside anyway than the treadmill. I'm sure there's probably a study on that. But I do the treadmill and I walk for 30 minutes and then I do the elliptical for 30 minutes. Now, I don't stretch like I should. And if I do stretch, I don't stretch long enough. And I think it's catching up to me because I get really, really, really sore. And it's not like a regular soreness. It's like a soreness to where things tighten up and it's not good. So when I do that, it's not a good thing. And then the third thing that I like to do at the gym is I use the lat pull machine, like the traditional strength training. Sorry, the traditional strength training. I talk a little fast. The lat pull machine. So that's the machine that you sit down at and you pull. You pull it or whatever. And I usually do 40 pounds or 40 pounds in weights or 55 pounds. That's what I stick with. So whenever I do that, I be going hard. And one time I actually did pull a muscle a few months ago and I had to chill out. I pulled that muscle back in July, I believe. And I think the same thing happened again because I was in severe pain this week. So my week was terrible because I was getting up going to the gym. And I don't know if I pulled something. I think I probably did pull something in my back or my shoulders. I was down and out. So it's been a really, really hard week on me physically. Like I'm talking like the pain has been unbearable. Like I could barely sleep. I'm waking up at night. It's a mess. So your girl has some ibuprofen and I'm feeling a lot better. I took a really good walk today. I did 3 miles today. So I'm trying, I don't eat the best all the time. Now I do know how to cook. I could cook a little bit. It's very simple stuff. I'm not like a chef, okay? But I could cook edible things that are decent and they taste good to me. And but I've been eating out a little bit and I've been eating bad, so that's why this morning because yesterday I went to Popeyes, okay, y'all. I went to Popeyes, and I had the spicy 3 piece with the red beans and rice, and I had the little whatchamacallit, the jalapenos, where you bite it and you jump oh, y'all probably saw my lace. Okay, don't look at the lace. Okay, she's sitting up there. Okay, but look, that Popeyes was so good, and then I did another big girl thing. Okay, this is very big back of me. It's very big back. Yes. Um, Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna say what I did for dinner. We're not gonna admit what I ate for dinner, okay? Because it was bad. But I ate something else that was bad for dinner. So that's why I was like, Khalif, look, wake up today, get you a salad, go on a nice walk, and that's exactly what I did. I woke up, I have my electrolyte water here, okay? Body armor, okay, and my electrolyte little drink here from 7-Eleven, girl, to get me right. Anyways, I've had a good day so far, so that's my check, and that was too long. If you made it this far, I apologize. Drop down, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I wanted to talk today about the government shutdown because that was a topic that I lightly touched on in my Megan Thee Stallion, my Nicki Minaj and Cardi B video where I went on that whole tirade about their beef, but I did talk about the government shutdown. There was a commenter who commented on my page, and the comments are still up, where this commenter was like, oh my God, where are you getting your sources? You're basically lying. You're basically just on camera saying stuff. Let me make it clear to you all. If you watch my videos, even if you comment, I'm not lying about things that I'm saying. If you look at my bio on my YouTube channel, I am actually giving commentary and I'm reporting on things, right? So when I did talk about the government shutdown, no, I did not read off of sources in that particular moment of that podcast video. I didn't feel like I had to. Now I know that I normally do that on each episode, but I was like, I just want to talk about the government shutdown. This is what's happening. If you get in my comments and you say that I'm lying or you're insinuating that I'm lying, just know that, either you're going to get blocked or I'll go toe to toe with you. Okay, I will go toe to toe with you because I'm not getting on YouTube lying and just making stuff up. This is a difference between opinion and things that are actually happening, right? There is a difference between that. So if you are a Republican, that's fine. Even if you are MAGA, that's totally fine. But what irritates me about you all is that you all purposely go on people's videos who are black, who are trans, and you try to pick at people. If you're going to pick at me, I need you to just come correct. So if you're going to question me on my sources, have your sources readily available. My sources, although I didn't list them in that video, my sources were NPR, BBC, things that I actually read, right? I actually read and I pay attention to the news. So I get that we are in a very politicized time, but it just really upsets me that some of you don't understand what's happening, yet you're so politically charged and it doesn't make sense. If you're going to do that and comment on my video and you're saying BS, either I'm going to go toe to toe with you or you're going to get blocked. I don't get, how could you, if you are someone who is Republican, that's okay. I don't agree with it. I don't have to agree with it. But I'm not going to go under a MAGA person's video or someone's video who I know is like, I don't agree with their political beliefs and argue with them. It's just funny how y'all really be on the internet trolling people and y'all purposely target people like myself or people who look like me because you might see my video roll up or whatever, or you just want to pick. Go ahead and keep picking, but if you're gonna pick, have your goddamn sources ready. And I'm sorry to cuss. I try not to cuss on here, but it's just really annoying. It's so exhausting. I like we are in a government shutdown. That's what's happening. People's health care is at risk. They just announced yesterday that the premiums are most likely going to go up. They just announced that on Friday on the news. Real news sources. I'm not talking about fake news. Okay? So, I just get really annoyed with people who do that, but I have to understand that that's what's going to come with that because this is all social media. This is nothing but the internet. So I don't even take it seriously. But what I do take seriously is people trying to argue. That's what y'all really get up on here and y'all try to argue. So since you want to argue in the comments, and it wasn't a lot of comments, I don't have a lot of views, but there are a few of y'all. Whenever y'all see me, y'all like to get froggy. So we're gonna get froggy today. I have an NPR article. It's a special series of the 2025 government shutdown. It's a full breakdown, and it's by the NPR network, and it was updated on October 24th at 1:30 p.m. The headline reads, "The federal government is still shut down. Here's what that means across the country." Okay, because you girls are always like, "Oh, Khalif, where are your sources? Here is my goddamn source." I'm tired of y'all and this goddamn bullshit with y'all. Y'all are so annoying. And I'm sorry to cuss. I know cussing is not considered classy and couth, but y'all are really annoying. Y'all are fucking annoying. I just wanted to say that today. I'm not upset. It's just a level of exhaustion as to what has been happening this year in 2025. I am not a political guru, but I do pay attention. I'm not let me make this clear. I cover hard news because I'm someone where I enjoy celebrity news, I enjoy lighthearted news, I enjoy fun topics, I enjoy live topics, right? That is my specialty. So I'm going to say this one more time for people who are just finding my videos, or you don't actually watch Khalif and you're just a damn troll on the internet and you just want to feel smart today, and you're not smart because you actually don't watch the news and you don't know what the truth is, because your political beliefs are based in biases that only you can see, right? You don't actually care about other people and other things and people who are affected by who you vote for in your political choices, right? But once again, I'm not a political guru. I've never gotten on this camera and said that I was a political guru. Okay, that's not what I am. But when I do read the news, it is actual accounts of what is happening, okay? I'm not getting on my podcast just saying stuff out of the top of my, or you know what I'm saying, like this. And that's what's so frustrating about social media and the internet. It's just really frustrating. So let me stop ranting on that. I just wanted to say that to y'all because this one person really got in the comments and was telling and asking me, "Oh, Khalif, what are your sources? What are your sources? Where are you getting this from?" And it's like, girl, you can go Google what I'm saying. I'm not lying. People's health care is at risk. There is a lot going on. ICE is outside. People are literally getting snatched up. So whether you agree with it or not, maybe what we should talk about is human rights and things like that. Some people are not for human rights. Stop watching my videos. You're not going to get what you want here. So stop trolling my videos. Y'all racist white people and y'all people who are black and Latino, and you're not a progressive person, or you're looking to argue, just don't watch my stuff. It's that simple. You don't have to watch it. And I get that it's the internet, and I get that it's trolling, and I get that it's fun for y'all. But what I don't understand is if I'm not sitting here going on someone who, if a person does not politically align with me, I'm not going to go to their page to watch their stuff. I'm not looking for what they're going to say to try to start an argument with them. Like, that literally doesn't make sense. So, I'm going to catch myself one more time. Okay? All right. So let's get to this article. Once again, it's written by the NPR network, and it's a full breakdown, or a minimal breakdown, a breakdown nonetheless. The headline reads, "The federal government is still shut down. Here's what that means across the country." It's written by the NPR network. So, according to NPR, the federal government shutdown continues, and Republicans and Democrats appear no closer to an agreement to end it. Okay? We are now on day 25 of the government shutdown. It is Saturday, October 25th. If you see this after, that's okay. I'm telling you in the video. I'm reading this on October 25th. If the government opens up on Monday, I can't control that. I can't control that, okay? So if you see this video and the government opens back up, don't go in the comments talking about, "Oh my God, the government shutdown is over. Where do you..." Like, y'all are so goddamn obtuse. Oh my goodness. It is Saturday, October 25th, okay? We are 25 days into the government shutdown. According to NPR, the federal government shutdown continues, and Republicans and Democrats appear no closer to an agreement to end it. The Senate failed to advance a pair of competing measures to pay at least some federal employees during the government shutdown. It's payday for many federal employees who will not be receiving a paycheck, the first full paycheck they've missed as part of the shutdown. Okay. By law, federal workers are supposed to get back pay once the shutdown ends, but the White House has tried to cast doubt on that, according to NPR. The Agriculture Department says it will reopen about 2,100 county offices despite the government shutdown to help farmers get access to $3 billion of aid. At the same time, many American farmers say the Trump administration's trade policies have them on the brink. As the shutdown drags on, here's the latest on what we know according to NPR. So, before we get deeper into this, and when they really break down why did the federal government shut down and so forth, federal workers are impacted by this. People who rely on SNAP and WIC are affected by this. I might even insert some videos from TikTok, but there are people who are relying on EBT and relying on WIC and their benefits to basically recharge and restart on November 1st, and that most likely will not happen. So a lot of people are panicking because they have children, they have elders, they have family members who need food, right? Now, on TikTok, I have seen some people say, oh my God, the taxpayers are responsible for my children. Now, that's debatable now. I don't know if the taxpayers is responsible for your children, okay?
Y'all hear me? Because of this government shutdown, they telling me I can't use my EBT in November. I got 7 kids with 7 men. 7! And that's the taxpayer's responsibility, okay? Y'all owe.
You just sat up there and had all them kids, all right? Now, but at the end of the day, our tax dollars still do go to people who need to feed their kids, right? People who need to feed their families. And it's not that people are not working. Some people do have jobs, but they don't have high paying jobs and they still need EBT and they still need to help their kids, right?
So I just finally got confirmation that food stamps is officially cut for next month. And the thing about a lot of stereotypes is they say that if you're on SNAP benefits, you don't work hard, you sit on your butt and you just collect checks, when that's not the case. I work hard every single day. I get up every single day and clean houses, and I still rely on food stamps to feed my 6 children because the prices are so high. It's unrealistic to think about not having food stamps. Next month, I'm so terrified because 6 babies are always eating. Plus myself, I eat about 1 meal a day, but still. And it's like, they always say don't rely on the government. But sometimes, like in situations right now where the government literally has raised prices over 300% on just everything, eggs, milk, everything, you do have to rely on stamps, especially in my situation where I just got custody of 3 children on top of mine. So we need it. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm terrified right now. And I don't know if anyone else is scared, but this is scary. Like, Trump needs to figure something out. I don't know. This is so messed up right now.
So there's just a lot that's at stake. And I do know that some people are, people on the other side, y'all people who voted for what's happening to happen, y'all are going to feel like, oh my God, I don't want my taxpayer going to the person who's lazy. Some people are lazy. They just sitting up here having all these kids, child. And you know what I'm saying? You're entitled to feel how you feel. Okay. But it is what it is. Look, some people need to eat and our taxpayer dollars are just going to go there. I'm just I just wish as a society we had, and I know that it'll probably never be this way because we live in a capitalistic society. We live in America, right? America is pure capitalism. The monster of what our country represents is something that is it I don't think that there's any type of repair, which is why we have such a broken two-party system. That's completely broken at this point. It's completely broken, right? At this point, it's pretty bad. But people still should eat and our like children should be able to eat, elders should be able to eat. We all should have adequate access to healthcare, especially if we're not making a lot of money. The economy is completely down. That is true. I'm not lying about these things. The economy is messed up right now. So for all of you who voted for him, this is what you voted for. This is what you voted for. And if you didn't vote, you also partook in that as well. I get that you have your political beliefs. You might be an independent. shoot me down. I'm just going to say it. If you did not vote, you are in a way also a part of that. We can argue all day long. If you get in the comments, you will be blocked. Okay, I don't have the energy for it. But yeah, it is what it is. This is where we are now. And I just wish that the humanity was seen in us as Americans, right? Everyone is struggling. Everyone is affected. The only people who are not affected are those who are in a certain tax bracket. It's all about money at the end of the day. And people are going to start crashing. People are already crashing out. Look, I'm going to probably insert some videos up in here.
My kids have not eaten 5 days. It is the taxpayer's responsibility to take care of my kids. They cutting off EBT since the shutdown. I can't use EBT in November. I got 7 kids with 7 daddies. Who's supposed to feed them? Them men ain't paying for nothing. They cut my motherfucking food stamps to $85 fucking from $738. How the fuck that's supposed to support a household of 3?
My EBT does not pay for anything sweet anymore. And
What the fuck you mean? Who ain't getting their goddamn food stamps in goddamn November?
Welcome to the real world.
If 42 million people are at risk of not receiving their EBT benefits in the month of November, I don't think that the grocery store staff should be risking their lives for a bag of groceries. This is a very scary thing. People are going to do what they have to do to feed their children. They're going to do what they have to do to feed their children. No mother or father is going to want to sit and see their children starve because the government is shut down. And for the mamas and papas that are worried about this, I want you to keep this in mind. There are still good people out here that are going to help, okay? They're going to help. They're going to want to help to make sure that your children eat. So before you go into the grocery stores, or before you get to the point where you feel you have to go into the grocery stores and start taking things, please allow people to help you. They will, okay? I know it won't be for everyone, but please keep that in mind. And blessings to you all.
I usually mind my business, but they sending out the notification today that you have 1 week to use your EBT card, SNAP benefits card, or whatever, SNAP cash. As of November 1st, the cards will be cut off, okay? They are also saying that if you have money on the cards and you do not spend it before November 1st, you will be asked out. Spend that shit. Okay? Go get y'all food. Go get y'all shit now. Whatever you got from this month. And if you keep it, stashed it to roll over, whatever you did, that's cool. But spend it before the 1st because they are cutting off the cards. The card itself will not work. So, with that being said, it's going to be a lot of people suffering behind these politicians playing with people's livelihood for power and control and for whatever agendas they feel like is doing it. But I just pray that, our people make it through this hard time. Like, bro, this is going to be crazy. A lot of people depend on these food stamps a lot to survive. And it's like they're leveraging people's survival for them to play fucking games with each other. Like, bruh, this shit is ass. But I just wanted to let y'all know that spend those EBT cards now, before the 1st, because the cards will be cut off, completely shut off.
So since they cutting all the EBT off, are the churches going to come together and start taking care of their community instead of just like buying brand new cars and houses and shit like that with the church's money? The money that's supposed to be going to the roof that's been broke, that needs to be fixed for like since 2009, you feel me? Like, are we really gonna talk about it real life? What do you mean y'all can't dedicate a couple people to cook for the community like every day? Like, whether it's like a couple to the families in need, to the people that actually need it, for real. What do you mean you can't do that? You paying $500, $600, $700 a band. It's a video going viral right now. Folks talking about they asking for $1,200, two bands, shit like that. They want you to double it. If y'all can give all this money back to the church, why can you not give it to the community? where it's actually going to a cause, something positive. You feel me? I'm sorry to tell you, but your pastor is running off with your money. He been doing it for the longest. But you talking about some, oh, well, once it leave my hands, I'm just doing the same shit with the community. What are you talking about? Like, y'all, I don't know. Like, but I would really love to see that. No lie. Folks can really come together and do something. But yet, man, come on, come on, come on.
People saying how they planning on, robbing Walmart and walking out. And here's the thing about that before I get into this NPR article. I don't think that y'all should do that because they want you to do that. But it's just frustrating how poverty is pushing us. Poverty does that. This is the issue of classism and poverty. And I can't tell somebody what not to do, but what I will say is that I hope that y'all stop posting on social media that y'all are gonna go rob a store. Okay? Y'all have to understand that y'all are being surveillanced. Stop getting on TikTok and Instagram saying, oh my God, I'm gonna go on the Walmart, girl, and I'm gonna grab me 5 turkeys and run out the door. Like you're literally dry snitching on yourself, girl. Like not even dry, sweat snitching at that point. Like y'all, like we gotta hang in there and we gotta come together as a community. And what we're seeing is that the government doesn't care about us. Okay, the government doesn't care about us. They really don't. They don't care about the working class. They don't. And we know that. So these are things that we already know. I don't really have any solutions other than maybe we could, come together and just do a large economic boycott. Um, but that's going to take not just black people or Latino people, it's also going to take white people to do that as well. The white people who voted for this to happen, they're going to have to help as well. We're going to need more. Like something more has to be done. I don't have all the solutions. Okay, I don't have all the solutions. Okay, but for my people who are really in the struggle, I just don't want y'all getting on camera no more saying how y'all about to run up in a Walmart and a food for less. And, like I don't want y'all to go to jail. Like y'all is getting on here admitting to crimes, and y'all have to understand that social media is being like all of us are being watched on social media. Like you cannot get on camera admitting to these crimes, girl. Like please. Okay. So let me stop right there because it's a lot of emotions coming out of me, and I'm trying my best to not do that. And I know some emotions are coming out of y'all. Okay. Now, for the people who get it, I love you and I respect you. Y'all people who get in these comments, the things that I'm saying, I'm not making this up. It's the reality of what's happening. I'm going to say it one last time before we get into this article. So, now, back to the article as I'm ranting and rambling on this podcast episode of The Stark Effect. Comment, like, share, and subscribe. Okay. So, as the shutdown drags on, here's the latest on what we know. So, why did the federal government shut down, according to NPR? A partisan argument over if and when lawmakers need to act to extend subsidies for the Affordable Care Act marketplaces led to the current shutdown. Some 24 million people who don't have insurance through their jobs or a public program like Medicaid use the system to buy health plans. Prominent Republican lawmakers have claimed the Democrats are looking to provide tax dollars to help pay for the health care of undocumented immigrants. That is not true. For that one person who got in that comment, that's for you. Since you want to talk in these comments and I asked you to give me a source, you didn't want to give me no source. Okay, so that's for you. If you watch this video and you want to troll, I'm going to read it to you one more time since you want to be cute. Prominent Republican lawmakers have claimed that the Democrats are looking to provide tax dollars to help pay for the health care of undocumented immigrants. That is not true. That is not true. That is not true. I'm not the first to say it. There have been plenty of people on the internet who have said that. Undocumented immigrants, the tax dollars, Democrats are not taking tax dollars to provide health care and basically using all of that money or those monies to help undocumented immigrants receive free health care. That is not true. Okay, they are already undocumented. They already have difficulties with even getting access to healthcare, getting access to anything. Okay, it's not true. It's not true. Oh, I need y'all to stop drinking the Kool-Aid. Okay, Democrats in the Senate refused to vote for the Republican short-term funding bill that passed the House, but did not include an extension of the healthcare tax credits. Okay, So once again, Democrats in the Senate refused to vote for the Republican short term funding bill that passed the House, but did not include an extension of the healthcare tax credits. Democrats are also hoping to repeal cuts to healthcare programs that were put in place as part of the GOP spending and tax bill that passed over the summer. All right? So that's what's going on there. So, what the shutdown means for federal workers, and I already mentioned this earlier for federal workers. Altogether, about 1.4 million civilian federal employees across the country are going without pay, according to the Bipartisan Policy Center, a think tank in Washington, D.C. Of those, roughly half are furloughed, which means they are not working and not getting paid, but expect to return to work once the federal shutdown is over. The other half have been deemed essential and so are continuing to work. On Thursday, the Senate failed to advance a pair of competing measures to pay at least some federal employees during the government shutdown. During the shutdown, the Trump administration has managed to move money around to ensure that some people get paid, including active duty military and law enforcement officers with the Department of Homeland Security. Okay. Many other federal workers are also still getting paid as usual during the shutdown. Salaries for some federal employees, including the vast majority of those at the Department of Veterans Affairs, do not come out of appropriations that Congress must approve every year. Okay? So the reason why I looked at the camera as I emphasized the word of Department of Homeland Security. Now, ICE agents are a part of the Department of Homeland Security. I'm just gonna drop that there. Okay, so during the shutdown, I saw something online from a prominent independent journalist. I believe his name is Aaron Patness. I believe he did repost something on Threads stating that it was just him basically noting how it's funny how money is not being allotted to actual, let me not say actual, but federal workers, right? Yet money is being found for ICE agents to be paid. That's something that he noted on his page that I believe he noted. And I can go back and prove that if you need me to, okay? And if not, if I got the wrong person, I apologize. But I believe it was the independent journalist Aaron Patness or another one that I follow, okay? I'm not making it up. I did see it, all right? So, are government workers being laid off during the shutdown? Okay, that's a question here according to NPR. This is another section of the article. Are government workers being laid off during the shutdown? The Trump administration has been following through on threats to further slash the size of government during the shutdown, seeking to lay off roughly 4,000 workers earlier this month. Some unions that represent workers are fighting back in court. The judge overseeing the case issued a temporary restraining order directing the Trump administration to pause reduction in force, RIF for short, efforts that affect certain unionized employees. How is the shutdown impacting active duty military? The Trump administration earlier this month found unused research and development funds to pay active military members, according to a Pentagon official not authorized to speak publicly. So they didn't miss a full paycheck earlier this month, but it only covered one pay cycle. Many are expecting their next paycheck at the end of this month. All right. What about WIC and SNAP benefits? Tens of millions of people are at risk of losing food and nutrition aid if the shutdown continues into November. I said this earlier in this podcast video. People on TikTok are already panicking. If I didn't put the videos in, I probably will put them in now again. But people are panicking about this. Now, this includes 7 million for the supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children, that's WIC, and nearly 42 million people who rely on the supplemental nutrition assistance program, which is known as SNAP. So, the tens of millions of people that I said a few seconds ago are at risk. So that includes people who rely on WIC and people who rely on SNAP. And SNAP was previously known as food stamps, which is also known as EBT. Now, everyone who relies on SNAP or WIC, they have like these debit-like cards. I've been on EBT before myself, girl. Look, I'm not ashamed to say it. I love EBT. I wish I qualified for it now because it's harder. I'm tired of paying for food, okay? Uh, look, okay, I'm from the hood, okay? I have nothing to lie about, okay? Because y'all swear Khalifa's just getting on her podcast and lying or whatever. Y'all, it just irritates me. Y'all get on my nerves, okay? But no, I have had EBT before. I know how EBT works. But yeah, what's happening here is that the Trump administration, according to NPR, has warned that the program will run out of money on November 1st. In a letter dated on October 10th, the USDA told state agencies to hold off distributing November benefits until further notice because of insufficient funds. The left leaning Center on Budget and Policy Priorities has called on the agency to shift money from its contingency fund and other places to keep SNAP at least partially funded. And let me correct myself on what I said earlier about Aaron Patness. I made a mistake there. So, what he did say is that now the USDA is saying urging state agencies to hold off on distributing the monies, right, for people who need SNAP and WIC. Now, if it wasn't Aaron Patness who said it, it was another independent journalist I follow who made a great connection and a great point stating how, oh, it's so funny how they're saying that there's insufficient funds for SNAP and WIC, yet they're managing to pay ICE agents. Like they're managing to get their money. Okay, they're managing to get paid. So that's what I was trying to connect earlier. So I apologize if I jumbled that. Meanwhile, back to the article here, it says, let's see. Meanwhile, WIC was initially stated to lose funding after only a couple of weeks. Let's see, the left leaning Center on Budget and Policy Priorities has called on the agency to shift money from its contingency fund and other places to keep SNAP at least partially funded. Okay? The Trump administration shifted $300 million in tariff revenue to keep it afloat, but the National WIC Association says the emergency funding will only last through October. It's calling for an additional $300 million to keep WIC operating for a couple more weeks. Some states could step in to help fill the gap depending on their resources. All right. And what about school lunches? All right. So, yeah, school lunches are at risk. IRS furloughs nearly half its staff. So the IRS has literally put half of its staff in furlough. Okay. So that's approximately 74,000 workers who currently remain on the job and will continue to work for their foreseeable future. Okay. So let me repeat that because I said that kind of weird because I'm reading it. All right. So let me read that smoothly here. So the IRS furloughs nearly half of its staff, according to NPR. A contingency plan from the Treasury Department says that slightly more than half of the IRS is approximately 74,000 workers remain on the job and will continue to work for the foreseeable future. Some IRS employees were issued reduction in force, or RIF, notices on Friday and posted screenshots of those notices informing them of their last day, which will be December 9th. All right. So, look, things are getting real for the IRS people. And, so those are just a few key points of this amazing article by NPR. I'm going to stop right there. You pretty much get the point. Look, in layman's terms, shit is getting real. I'm sorry to cuss. I'm cussing more on this podcast. I really apologize for that. But look, I don't have any contracts or anything where I'm contractually obligated. I'm going to tell you like it is. Things are getting really, really real. When I am on here, I just want to say this for the last time, and it probably won't be the last time because this is the internet, and the internet is going to do what it does. You don't have to agree with people's political beliefs, but you do need to see the truth. And we live in an age now where you have people like myself and other journalists who are out here. And yes, I am a paid journalist. I do get paid to do this. Like, I'm not getting paid to do this podcast, but I have a degree in journalism. I'm not on camera just lying. I'm not on camera just lying, pulling shit out of my ass, getting on camera just to, I'm not, and I'm someone who likes celebrity culture and all that, and I like a little bit of mess. But I'm even with that, I'm not getting on here lying, right? So when I talk about the government shutdown, And if you try to question my sources, I need you to have a source. I gave you my source. You can go online. You could go to NPR.com. I gave you the headline as well. You can go type in the headline. Go look up NPR, NPR Network, and you can have a source right there. Since you girls, everybody is always trying to have something to say, and then they try to come to people who actually have sources trying to argue when y'all don't even have y'all sources. Okay, I get that we live in an age now where everyone is on the internet just talking and everyone has their own voice. That's cool or whatever, but I have an issue with people who like to talk shit and try to, put my back up against the wall, and then when I ask them to prove their goddamn source, they don't have the source. Drop down below and let me all know what you think about this video about the government shutdown. We are still in the shutdown. There are still many people who are affected by this. I'll get to the fun topics as well, the little fun mess and things like that. But, there is a lot happening in this world and we're all affected by it. I'm still poor. Don't let it fool you. Okay. Don't let this nice synthetic fool you. Okay. I ain't got it like that myself. All right. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I apologize for my tone and me cussing, but and I have to understand that people in the comments are going to continue to do that. It is what it is. But it just one reason why it irritates me is because there are just some people who just refuse to see what's really happening and they just don't have an ounce of care. So this video is not for y'all. Okay, this video is for people who are looking for a cool podcast and they want a new face. They want somebody else to watch with the other faces that they watch. They want a fun podcast to listen to with a little bit of hard news. Sorry for the glare in my glasses. This is for those people, okay? If you a troll, you won't put my back up against the wall. You might get told off in the comments, or I might block you, or I might just leave you there and ignore you, okay? But if you come at me with sources. Don't come at me with Republican talking points. You come at me with actual sources, then I will do my diligence and I will go back and I will look at my sources, okay? That's all I'm saying. Okay, I'm not gonna keep arguing with y'all all day in these comments though. It's exhausting. Sorry, my hair is getting caught on my lips. It's very exhausting. And I don't even get a lot of comments. I don't get a lot of engagement, but I do get people who watch. Anyways, I'm done. Bye. Thank you for watching.